Hi there, this is Pam's Paper Place, and I just finished a journal. It's a design team project for Studio 28E. The kits that I used were Peaches and Cream Delight mainly, and then I used a little bit of her Mauve Taupe journal kit, and I'll put the link in the description. I use a couple other little digitals too, but mainly that's what it is. I think this might be one of the first times I used a padded fabric cover, and I love this fabric. Dale, my friend, YouTube friend Dale, sent me this. I bought a journal from her, and she sent me some goodies, and this was some of the beautiful fabric. Pretty. Looks like a tea garden. So this is like a shabby chic journal. It's got quite chunky. It's full of laces and trims. And this is also for a swap that I'm doing with Heather Feltman, and her journal might be getting here today. Our mail is doesn't get here till very late, so I'm going to be sending this off to her. But I love how it turned out. I'm probably going to make another one. I like one for myself. Here's the top. Yeah, it just got really, as you can see, chunky, and then it has different little charms here and there. And then here's the covered spine with this like little rosette type trim, and then this is some vintage trim here. I have two different types of seam binding, two different colors. And then I have a stick pin that I made here. So that just goes there, and then we have this rosette here, and then it has the two different types of really soft seam binding. Isn't that pretty? I think I went a little crazy. It's kind of full. Anyway, let's open it up. And it has a lot, I'll show you too on the bottom, has a lot of pretty fabrics coming off the bottom here. And then it has different beads too. I'll show you. So you open it up. It has a pocket here for something. This is scrapbook paper. It has the fabric here. This is some scrapbook paper. And then as you can see here, here's some of the trim here. And then this is, I believe this was from Studio 28E, and then I backed it on some cardstock, black cardstock, so it looked like kind of a photo. And then this is from one of Sherry's Mirrors Studio 28 kit, and then I added this pretty trim here into this little pocket. And added a little ruffle here and a little button. Then you have lace on the side here, vintage lace. And then I brought in this black doily because of the black here, and also there's a little black frame here. And then I added a dimensional butterfly. It has these pearls in a fluffy shabby rose. Also I used, let's see, this is from, I think, Artie Mays, his little tickets. This is Studio 28, and I sewed around it and then backed it on coffee dyed paper. This is a little, like a vintage card here. It says a gift for you. So those get tucked in here, and this black doily, paper doily, I backed on some pink paper for more, so it was more stable. And that pretty vintage lace there. I'm going to make myself one because this was going to be a little hard to let go. I want to start doing that more, you know, make one for me and then for somebody else, you know, sell, and then just you know, have some of your own work too. This is, I can't think what this braided trim is called. And then added a little shabby rose. I don't know if you can see here, but on this little dress, this little baby, I added lace. And then this little tag here has a little button, and it's on coffee dyed paper. It goes in there, and then it's all coffee dyed, all the pages. This is from a vintage book, and I liked it, the rose and the butterfly. This is from another kit. I don't remember. This butterfly I added. And I wanted it to kind of be like this was this girl. She went on different trips. She liked to go to rose gardens, to have tea parties, garden parties with tea and things. And she, you know, travels. There's a little travel related. Oh, here's some of the paper, real pretty paper. And then I added this from the kit. It's got a little, like a garden there. And there she is with her aunt, maybe. Here's St. Paul's Cathedral, London. And then, so that was part of her travels. It's from the kit. And then I added some paper. It looks like a little letter. Here, this is some scrapbook paper. It has beautiful chandeliers, and the kit also had a chandelier here. So I thought this was pretty together. This little envelope, I stitched it around, added a peach color paper clip. And then, I know it's crazy, but the little detail, I added these tiny little gems that look like they're lit, and then little black gems there on this scrapbook paper. I guess I like detail. The part I like best is, oh, I like it all. I don't mind sewing in the signatures anymore. And, what was I going to say? But I like decorating. Here I added a doily and this little flower. I like to embellish. Part of the kit. And then I added this bird book page. And then this is from the kit. It's on photo paper. It's a little shinier. Then I added this little blue flower because there's some little flowers here. And this is from a different kit, which could be Digital Collage Club, or it could be Tsunami Rose. So there's that. And there's a little piece of crochet trim there. Part of the kit, I added a little flower to her hair, or roses to her hair, little rose trim. And kit, writing paper. Here I made this pocket with this lace trim, pretty image, a little rosette here, and then I have this little tiny teacup. Can you see that? It has a little rose pattern. I have a lot of miniatures. I used to like to make flower or fairy gardens, and so I have a lot of little miniatures. Here's like a vintage envelope. Oh, I think I have to ink this. No, I did. And it has this, I may have enlarged this from the kit. Cut the sides to fit. It's like a little library card. Pretty image there. It's been coffee dyed. And it's hard to get this whole book in here. Here's the middle of the first signature. It has 3 signatures. So here's the middle, little pretty paper from the kit. The peach, Peaches and Cream Delight. I dyed the butterfly, added this little dangly trim here. a little dangly trim, and the butterfly that I dyed. And then in the middle, this is where it was sewn. I used this little envelope from the kit, and I cut it open. And then this is some scrapbook paper, and I added this little bow here. And it's some sparkly, pretty paper, and I coffee dyed and sewed around it. And the bow just sticks out of the top there. Then here, there's a peach for peaches and cream. Added this little vintage card, or vintage look card, and then I added a little flower here. It's hard to see all the detail. Here, I added this pocket here, and then I added this flower trim, and then these appliques I added to it. And then in the pocket, there's a cute little image there, and then this is from the kit with some pretty trim for the tie. I coffee dyed and sewed around it, and it matches the little flowers here. And this was from Luna Rosu, her postcard kit, and I printed it on photo paper. More writing paper, coffee dyed paper. It's from the kit. More bird pages. There's a little bird's nest there. Coffee dyed. I added some of this Shabby rose trim here. Here's a little button that I added to this really pretty lace belly band. It's from the kit I used. This might, you know, the two kits that I used from Studio 28. I'll list them in the description. That goes in there. This pretty little button. Here, have a little pocket. This might be Tsunami Rose. Thought that looked pretty elegant for that. And then this little tag, I think, is Digital Collage Club. And I have lace and two little appliques. And we have music paper. This has been coffee dyed, punched here, and these tickets are from Artie Mays, I believe. And more crinkly coffee dyed paper. These pretty flowers. Here's a children's book. So I'm saying that's, you know, her favorite childhood book here. With the butterfly and the rose, and I added this little cutout butterfly. Here I added this little eyelet trim here, and this pretty trim. I also added lace to the bottom. I added lace here, and this has a little ticket and some pretty coffee dyed paper, scrapbook paper, and that flips open. And then you have this little card. This is from the kit. I backed it on some scrapbook paper, and I added that little bow, which goes right there. That's the first signature. You can still see all the lace sticking out here. And the trim here I added. And here's the beginning of the second signature. I added this little butterfly as a pearl and wired antenna, and this little trim, and then that applique. And then I added this blue and white lace here. I have a tiny doily, a bigger doily, and a little button. Let's see how pretty it is with the edges of lace. And then this is from the kit, coffee dyed. And then this is like a little travel, and it's like she was traveling and she got a letter and a little postcard. I like to put the colors here. That goes there, and then I added this trim here, and We have more coffee dyed paper. Here's Peach Cobbler, because the kit was Peaches and Cream Delight, so I added a little older recipe. This is the aging of the cookbook page. More coffee dyed, lined, little travel scrapbook page, coffee dyed paper. And this has some, you see the little trim here. And this is held on with a paper clip. This comes out. This is pretty scrapbook paper. I added this lace for a belly band and this bow. This stops it, and I added some little gold here, pen, and some little appliques. So and then I did put a little gold around here. I don't know if you can see it or not. And a real pretty seam binding, coffee dyed. And this just catches it here. There's the back. And then here's some more of the scrapbook paper. That's my heater. Let me turn that off a minute. Okay, and then here, this is a little hanky, and you still can see some of the blue lace trim, so I think that frames it nicely. And then you still have these little dangles here. And I backed this on some cardstock and sewed zigzagged around it. Here's a vintage postcard, pretty blue paper, which brings in this paper, talks about gardening with a kind of like beige and blue. It has some little zigzag stitching. More flower page. This is from a book page. Writing. This is a digital of, I believe that's from Studio28E. Coffee dyed paper. More from the kit. And this is the middle of the second signature. Here's real pretty paper from the kit. Looks like she's looking at the flowers here. I can't think of the name of this book. Something Terry. Botanical. Isn't it so pretty? And so this is the middle, and it opens up like this. It's just beautiful paper. And then the middle has these real pretty beads. And then looks like she's looking at the garden here. On this page, this is from, I believe, Artie Mae's digital kit. I added it as a tuck. Added some string here that hangs down from this little tag. And then here's a little bag that I collaged, added notes, added this from a different digital, and I put that in there. And I added, I believe this is from Digital Collage Club, and then these tickets I believe are from Artie Mae's. I thought the colors looked pretty in this little bag. There. And then that's the other side of that little paper, and I added a part of a doily and this real pretty peachy gem. We have more paper. This is the digital. Some pretty flowers. This is from a book. There's some more of Life's Own Bouquet, about nature and flowers. This is from the kit that I made into a little tuck. It's on photo paper. So I added a little blue for a little different, instead of just all peach. Here's a little tag that I added some string to, and then this little tag, the sweetest tea, had some blue in it, a little hummingbird, because she went to a lot of garden parties. Here's the other side of this that I used to make a like little bookmark as part of the kit. Added that little flower and this lace. And that goes here. And then I have lace here. And a part of a little doily and a little light yellow button. Added a ticket and some coffee dyed paper. Scrapbook paper, looks like a map. Then I added this ruffle, and then this is a little flower here. Let's see how pretty that all this lace is. So that has lined paper. It's more of the recipe page. This might be from the Mauve Taupe journal kit. And I added this little tag because it brought out the little colors here. So I made this a little cluster, and then here's a little dimensional butterfly to bring out the colors in here. And then here, oops, it's hard to get it all in here, just a little heart button on a gold garment pin. Beautiful lace here, vintage lace. I added lots of different laces. And then it comes around the corner here to trim this out here. Let's see, in the second signature, and it's on this really pretty textured scrapbook paper that has shiny, glittery, this pretty lace here. And so this is the third signature here. It's like a little tuck under here. And then you have this lace, a different type of lace, eyelet lace here. And then here's part of the, I think this is the Mauve Taupe journal digikit from Sherry's Mirror, Studio28E. And then I added some little satin roses, one in her hat. I don't know if you could see that. And then I added one to her bouquet. And then you have this pretty trim here. And then you have this tag that has this little peach paper clip with some peach eyelash trim. And I added gold to the tea cups, gold trim with like a gold type marker. And it's been stitched around. So they had that teacups when they went to the tea party. Here's some stationery that I coffee dyed. Pretty paper. Here's some of those little teacups. Paper. I added a paper ribbon, a little tiny doily, and a button. And this, I think, is from one of Sherry's kits. Then I made a little pocket out of the digital kit, and here's a tag from the kit that I sewed around, and I added this pretty seam binding, and then I added this little butterfly. And then here is an invisible pocket. I just cut another piece here that's the same underneath. Added that as a tuck. Added these little flowers. So then that's a tuck for that. Then I made this. This is a vintage book that I own. I made a copy of it and I added paper to the side, scrapbook paper, and then I added this little piece, boots and shoes, because she bought some brand new Mary Jane shoes to wear. This little bird and this little ticket, and then it has some coffee dyed papers, about 4 of them. So, crown pocket notes. So I had the original to that. Then I had this butterfly paper, because there's butterflies here. Look at these pretty ladies. I added these little flower applique to her hair. Added this little fluffy or shabby rose, and then added this lace here. It's got a little shine to it. Very elegant ladies. Some bird paper, vintage. Here's a little bird envelopes. Here's a little bird paper clip here. Added a ticket. And then this was some scrapbook paper I had that I added to some paper. So that is that. Here's part of this digital, and then I added some laces. This lace, that fabric, and this lace here. And here I added a little dress charm that I had colored, kind of a peachy color. I don't know if you can see that or not, right there. And then this is really pretty peach lace. This beautiful scrapbook paper or digital paper from Studio28E. It's very, very beautiful. And then I added this satin bow and this little fabric flower. And then here's the middle of the third signature, and it has these beads, really pretty beads. Then I added some more pretty paper. It looks like a little cottage. I added this ticket, and this was a cutout, I think, from a flower magazine. Then I velcroed this shut, and then added some different papers here to the middle of the signature. This is a tag sewn around, and this was an envelope from the kit that I sewed here, and it's also a pocket. And then I added some ribbon here, so that in this little applique, so then you have to pull this up a little bit to put that underneath. And then I have this pretty picture that's on photo paper, and this is from a different digital kit. Okay. I loved working with the kit. It was really so pretty. Here's a little applique. I made this scrapbook paper, added this lace, and this applique. This is some vintage paper, lined. You can hardly see, but let's see here. Coffee dyed paper. There's a little nest there. There's a little nest there. Oh, pretty flowers with the bees. There's music paper in the background. Here's some music paper, and I stapled some tickets here. I added this little belly band with some scrapbook paper. Here's a little tag that I added some string to, and then here's a little vintage postcard. Athens. So on her travels, she added that. And then here's from the kit. These are on photo paper. This is from Luna Rosu, Lunaro. Okay, I got cut off, so it's probably just going to be a couple of minutes more, but I wanted to finish the journal. I think I only have like 20 or 30 minutes. So I was just saying this was on photo paper, and then I added this to this little tuck. Added some little tickets here. More of the lined paper. More from the digital kit. Here is some of the vintage lace that's on the cover. We have this pretty trim eyelet. Then we have a little lace here. And we have a little shabby roses right there. That flips up. Excuse me. That's on the back of that stationery. And then here is a little cutout. It's from a different kit. Just cut her out for a tuck here. She's having a cup of tea. And then I made this. Oh, I need to ink this one. I added, this is scrapbook paper. Added this little doily here, and then I fussy cut these out from the kit. I may have enlarged them, and then I added the gold, what pen is it? Might be one of these, something like this. Metallic paint markers. Or was it this? No, I don't know, but one of these pens. So that it gives a little elegance to it. So it looks like it was sitting on the table with the doily. Then we have some more of this pretty trim that's at the first page. And we have a shabby rose. I have this fan charm with a garment pin. We have this really pretty lace. And then in the pocket, there's a little fan there too. I think this is from the Mauve and Taupe Journal Kit, Studio28E. This is from the kit that I sewed around, and there's that vintage notebook paper. Here's like a little postcard, Worcester, and then just added this here, and these tuck into this pocket. This is part of the kit. There's the back, and it's that pretty glittery type paper. So yeah, look at all this fluffiness. Then there's scrapbook paper, some lace, the fabric. Then you can see the beads here. Maybe you can see them better this way. And then here, this scrapbook paper has a little airplane for travel. Of course, back in that era, probably weren't any planes, but you could put something else on there. And then there's this from scrapbook paper that I backed on some manila cardstock. So she put some of her travel things in there. And then the back is pretty, like, looks like a little tea garden. And then you have all your fun little bits here, and another shabby rose. And there's the fluffiness. There's the stick pin. So that is the journal that I made for Studio28E Design team for this month of May. And also this will be going out to Heather Feltman for the swap. And I just thank you for watching. I had fun making this. I just hope you all have a great day. Be safe, be happy. Bye-bye.